This is the MTPredictor weekly update for July 1st. Alright, so let's spend a little more time with the charts this week. We'll go through, here's the S&P, the ES on the daily chart here. Again, the significant high back here. We saw that we had our 5-wave pattern down, culminating with the decision point buy signal here. Looking for a potential bottom there in the S&P. Again, we expected the rally back to the wave 4 DP here. All right, and I told you, I think it was last week, that was favoring more the upside. Again, this decision point area tells us the market needs to make a decision in this area. If that area holds as resistance, that I didn't want. I want the rectangle. I'm just going to extend this box a little bit. If this area holds as resistance, then the trend, which was down prior, should continue down. But if they take this area out to the upside, it's telling us that the whole 5-wave pattern down here is going to get erased, or typically gets erased to the upside, and we can take a decision point off of the top of wave 1. Decision point. All right, and that gives us a major resistance area. If they take this decision point out, the tendency is we'll see this decision point up here. That's about 1432 area. Reason I'm favoring the upside, well, we got a holiday, obviously July 4th here in the States on Wednesday. Markets like to rally into those holidays. But also if we go to the weekly chart, right, and we take a look at this area here with the Elliott Wave pattern, you see we came into wave 4. The wave 4 support area. So we had the 1, 2, the big wave 3, the wave 4 support in here. And again, we projected our wave 5 up last week and I think the prior week. So let's do that again. We'll see where the wave 5 target comes in. Alright, there's our minimum wave 5 target, which sits right around 1388, 1389 area. So I think if we can close, let's see, if we go back to the daily chart, we got to close above this decision point area. If we can take this high out to the upside, then I think we'll continue to the upside. If they fail to get above this 1359.50, we'll call it 1360 area this coming week, or starting this week, then chances are we're going to fall back and maybe even be start trading in a range with some support back down here. But if they can take it out, then I do think we go wave 5 up on the weekly chart there. So we'll see how that one plays out. Let's look at, I'm going to bring in some other charts here. This happens to be silver, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's go to the gold chart here. This is the weekly chart of gold. Kind of in a holding pattern here. Obviously there's some support here. We moved a little higher last week off this area, but really hasn't been much action there. The trend obviously for the weekly chart is still obviously up. This was a big buying area for a lot of the professionals. All right, so based on that, we look at silver. A lot of I like to use the gold chart to time the purchases in silver for long-term stuff. So silver, you can see, should find support in here based on gold. But if we just look at the silver chart itself, it does tell us a little different story. We had a major top here, wave 5 top there. That was at $50 when we were pushing $50 again, which was the ultimate high back on in the 80s anyway. I say ultimate high, recent high. Like I said, you can go back to the 1300s. Silver was trading, based if you adjust for inflation, about $1,400–$1,500 an ounce. So we're nowhere near all-time highs. But this was a significant high in that it was a 5-wave pattern up into even beyond maximum wave 5 there. So this potentially could be a wave 1, a wave 2 here. And again, we've done this before. I projected wave 3 down, which would put silver down here around $15 an ounce. Alright, that's if we just look at the silver chart. Like I said, based on gold, silver's got support here. But the silver chart itself is saying silver could be at 15 bucks an ounce based on the pattern here. Again, I don't put a lot of weight on it because it's a small market, gets easily pushed around and so forth. But that's the possibility. Let's check the dollar index here. Again, we had our major bottom there in the dollar. Here was the last swing into the low. We take our decision point off of that, swing high here. Alright, and this is the area we did get a pullback in the dollar as the euro rallied. But eventually, like I said, I do think the dollar is going to get up into that area. That's you're looking at on 85 and change in the dollar. If we look at the euro, let's just look at the pair, euro-US dollar pair. This is the reason why the euro is rallying a bit. We got a decision point buy signal here. You can see the target. Let's just see the wave pattern on this. Okay, you can see it's another 5-wave pattern down into the typical wave 5 support area here. And again, after the 5-wave pattern, just like we saw in the S&P, you tend to get a rally back to the wave 4 DP this area, and then the euro would need to make a decision here. If the euro does trade up into this area and it holds as resistance and rolls over, then the trend, which was down prior, should continue. If they take this decision point area out to the upside, then they are going to erase this whole 5-wave pattern down. At least that's the tendency. And you can give you another decision point off of that. That's around 1.4730 area in the euro US dollar anyway. So we'll see how this plays out. Again, I do if this continues to rally, we'll continue to see a pullback in the dollar. If this fails, then I do think the dollar will hit that target that I gave you if this rolls over again. So we'll see how that plays out. And then let's look at oil. Oil on the here's the weekly chart. You can see after the big sell-off there in oil, it's just kind of consolidating, kind of going sideways here. You got a little kind of a double bottom happening. We got a little bounce there last week in oil. STF is showing strength to the downside there. So any rally may be kind of, we'll have to see, maybe shallow, and things potentially, if we still see strength, things may roll over again in oil. We'll see. If so, this is going to be a major support in oil, and that's going to be she's right around 63.40 area, call it. Alright, I think we'll leave it there as far as news this week. Obviously, it's a holiday on Wednesday, so the markets, the bond and equity markets anyway, will be closed here in the U.S. And then Thursday is going to be a really big news day because all that stuff gets pushed back. So quiet up until, like I said, I do think the market maybe floats higher. Taking into consideration anything that happens, here or overseas, withstanding that markets like to rally into those holidays. It may be slow, but kind of like we saw on Friday. You had that gap up on Friday. Market kind of went sideways and eventually, kind of floated higher. We'll see if that kind of action continues, and then Thursday things really pick up again. Friday's kind of a slow news day, but that'll round the week out. And then usually the beginning of a quarter, start of a new quarter, it tends to be a good trading time. So we'll see how things go. Wish you all well. Great trading week, and have a great 4th of July. And we'll pick it back up on next Sunday.